police have torn down the last remaining occupied camp in San Francisco, arresting 55 people for illegal lodging. The tents have been cleared several times, but sprung up again when the main occupied encampment in the city was demolished on Wednesday. RT's Ganesh Chikan has more.
We've seen a lot of police activity in the last 3 months against this Occupy movement, which has been generally a very peaceful movement. It doesn't seem to be news anymore. We hear about dozens of arrests every week. We've seen the latest surge of arrests on the West Coast. 55 people were arrested over the weekend in San Francisco. They were protesting in front of a Federal Reserve building, cuddled up on the sidewalk. A witness said there had been no tents or structures overnight. The protesters were rustled out of their sleeping bags with cops, outnumbering demonstrators by about 2 to 1. Authorities cite some city law which prohibits sitting or lying on public sidewalks at certain hours of the day, but the protesters' argument is that the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which guarantees freedom of speech, has to outweigh those city laws and that the city has to let them continue exercising their rights. But judging by how actively police had been cracking down on protesters all across America, the First Amendment doesn't seem to have outweighed anything. This latest police raid in San Francisco has effectively cleared the city's last remaining Occupy protest camps. So under different pretenses, authorities have been shutting down those camps throughout the country. Around 5,000 peaceful protesters have been arrested in the last 3 months. Many occupiers fear that their message could vanish together with those tents. This Monday, in order to re-energize this movement, they're planning to block major ports on the West Coast. By marching on U.S. ports from California to Alaska, protesters look to call attention to economic inequalities in the country and a financial system they complain is unfairly tilted towards the wealthy. The police reaction that we've seen so far has been arrests, evictions, tear gas, pepper spray, that kind of thing. That's something that was on the surface, something that we could see on TV. But apparently police used other methods to deal with the protesters. It's been revealed that undercover police officers infiltrated Occupy LA's tent city last month to find out how the protesters planned to resist an eviction, and also to spy on people, and this one is interesting, suspected of stockpiling human waste. By the way, police spying on people has acquired new dimensions in the U.S. It's unrelated to the Occupy protests, but still very interesting. Police here have made the first known arrests of U.S. citizens with help from a Predator drone, the spy drone that they use in Afghanistan and in Pakistan. Now it's used to spy on U.S. citizens. Privacy advocates say giving police that much power to essentially spy on anyone in the U.S. without a warrant could be dangerous.
Ganesh Chikan reporting there. Now, the riot-clad crackdown on the Occupy protests through the U.S. has led to questions about how things became so violent. Max Blumenthal, writing fellow at the National Institute, believes we're seeing a blurring in the line between protester and terrorist.
During the late 70s, Congress passed legislation called Posse Comitatus, barring the military from operating on American soil. And now we're seeing an effort to circumvent that by arming police with military-grade weaponry. Speaking of police funding, just this year in 2011, received $500 million in surplus military weaponry from the Pentagon. And now middle-class Americans in the Occupy movement are facing not only pepper spray, but things like the LRADs sound cannon, the long-range acoustic device, which can blast your cranium with 140 decibels, shaking your skull so hard even earplugs won't stop it. So what we're seeing is not only a legal blurring of the lines between criminals, terrorists, and protesters, but something in the mindset of American policing and in their training, in which the civilian population is viewed as a hostile and menacing force that can be acted against with military-grade weaponry.